It's going to be part 4 of our Italian Carcano rifle series. Now this one's probably going to be the easiest one to cover. This is the Cavalry Carbine, and this is 1891 model. Now the 1891 models were manufactured right up until, like I said, 1938 when they decided to change the caliber. This should have a folding bayonet, but the whole mechanism in that is gone. They had a folding triangular bayonet that was permanently attached, and you usually do find them like this with the bayonet gone. This one here is the same model. They really didn't change it much from when they first adopted it until about 1936. So they're all the same. And like I said, you had the folding bayonet. You have a little short handguard, and your slings on this side here. Your sling would mount here on the side of the rifle and would probably be slung over the shoulder of the cavalryman on horseback. Your standard Mauser, your standard Mannlicher style magazine, split bridge, and again a Carcano bolt. Like I said, all the rifles have a very similar, it's the same bolt, same magazine action, except this one is bent down. It's not straight like the long rifle, but it's same action. And the sight is a little bit different. Plus this also, when you're looking at your carbines and your troop specials and that, the only ones that should have that little butt plate trap in the butt plate here, I think you can just barely see it. There you go. Is the cavalry carbines. That's where your cleaning rod's supposed to go. The Trooper Special or the TS's, they have a small cleaning rod underneath the barrel like the long rifle. Alright, let me readjust the camera here. Alright, this particular carbine was made in 1936. And there's only going to be 3 variants of this, and it all has to deal with the sights. This here, like I said, this is a carbine sight, which is smaller and shorter than what's on the rifle. But again, I guess that's 500 because the first notch is 600. And then you do the same deal where you hit the button and fold it up like that. And then it folds down into its notch, and you got your fixed rear sight. Now, like I said, there's only going to be 3 variations of the Cavalry Carbine. They'll all have the folding bayonet, which is missing on this model. And you'll have this early type of sight here in the 6.5 caliber. Then they made one like this. It's identical. They're all identical. But the only exception is, like on this Type 38 rifle, you'll have a fixed sight, and it'll be the 7.35 caliber. Then there is the third and final variation, which is the same gun in the 6.5 when they went back, and that'll have a fixed sight like this on the gun and say 6.5. And that would be considered the 9138 Cavalry Carbine. So you only had 3 variations. Now what throws a curveball at you is there's one company, Bresca, that made these guns right until the end of World War II and never put a fixed sight on any of them. And I think they may have had the flat sides on the rifle barrel, and that was changed, or I don't know if that was standard. I can't remember if they just went with the round barrels on this after a certain date or something. But that's another variation on that. Okay, and there's 1 or 2 interesting things about this particular rifle, and we'll get to that here in a second. Okay, on all the Carcanos, supposedly when you cycle the action, got your last round, the clip drops out. But if you cycle the action again with no clip in it, it would just close. Most of them do that. I've run across this on a couple of them. Call it a field modification. What someone has done is now, if this gun's empty, my last round ejects, you know, the clip is already fallen out. If I go to close the bolt, it won't close. What soldiers used to do is go inside here and bend this. You can see where that sticks up. And we'll take this other one. This one here, it doesn't. So the empty gun closes. Somebody used this in combat or carried it and wanted to know when their weapon was empty. Now they know to stick another clip in. And basically all they do is go down there and bend that follower arm up a little. I've run across a couple guns that somebody's done that to them. And the other thing about this is this has the different extractor. Like I said, on this one here, this piece that's wedged in there on that extractor, okay, that's what they call the old style. This bolt, like I said, this gun was probably parted out, and that's about the only variance has a different type of extractor, which is kind of into the lug there, if you see. That's basically your only differences. So when you hear that, what they mean by old style extractor, let me get these, maybe we'll get these on the table and get the camera. Alright, side by side. The new style extractor, as you see here, kind of goes into the bolt lug. Where the old style, I'm sorry about this, the old style was something that kind of pressed and wedged in up in here and kind of wrapped around the locking lug. Where this one kind of is in the locking lug. So that's about the only modification they made. Is, or when you look at parts, they'll ask you, do you need a new style, which would be this, or an old style extractor? Little Carcano trivia. Okay, and that's about it for our 1891 Cavalry Carbine. Like I said, there's only 3 variations, so this is probably, you know, next to the rifle, there's only 2 variations, but this is the next easiest one to sort out what you have collector-wise, other than the fact that the one company didn't change the rear sights, and you can get later dates like in the 40s with that adjustable sight.